playing that. I know some of the teams playing tournaments that are after Thanksgiving, which gives you that extra week, which probably isn't bad.
Yeah. Well, you've got some key guys back from last year's team. I know you were very young last year, but some of those young kids, after taking lumps last year, got some experience. They've grown a lot as well. Your son's grown a lot. Jackson, man, he has shot up a lot. Every time I see him, it looks like he's grown another couple inches. So you got guys coming back from the team from a year ago, and hopefully they're coming back with more confidence.
Well, I think they are. People say, well, how do you think you're going to be? Well, we're going to be better. I just don't know if that better is going to be good enough to win in our league, because we have some really, really good basketball teams in our league and on our schedule. But, we had one senior last year. We have two this year, Shea Harden and Zach Williams. They've got a lot of varsity time, and then we've got some of those juniors, Weston Brockhouse and Lucas Cooper. Jake Martin got a lot of time, and then Amir Span is a sophomore that got quite a bit of varsity time last year. But what I feel good about is I feel like we have a little more depth this year. Our sophomores, as you were talking about, Jackson and Simon Wilson's gotten a lot better, and we got Amir getting better, and Keon and Dakari Pelton. We've got some sophomores who are going to push the varsity a little bit. So we have a little depth there, somewhere to go, which is nice.
Yeah, well, a lot of those guys like Wilson and Span, a lot of them I know played a lot of hoops over the summer too. Played some travel ball and things like that. So they've never stopped playing, have they?
Well, yes, that's true. And sometimes turned into, and that's a whole different conversation. But
right.
You can play a sport all season long now. But Amir played football, so that was good to get away from it. Simon played golf. So it's kind of good every now and then to kind of get away and play a different sport and get involved in that. But we've got a lot of guys making a commitment to basketball. We're still young. We're going to play a lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores. But we, like I said, we have a little more depth, a little more experience than we did last year.
Well, I'm looking at the Rams schedule this year, and I see a new tournament on the schedule. It looks like you're going to participate in a tournament at O'Fallon. Is that right?
Oh, you may be looking at the freshmen.
Okay, maybe it was mixed in with the varsity schedule. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Our freshmen go over there every year. We play in the O'Fallon
right.
Freshman tournament.
Right.
So.
I knew that, but I thought, well, maybe the varsity's doing something over there this year. But
no, we're at the Pyramid at Marion. Then of course we're at the Century Holiday Tournament, and then we're at Salem.
Right.
In the midwinter.
Yeah.
So those are three good tournaments for us. Centray's loaded. I love the Salem tournament. We've always played well there. It's just a good atmosphere, and of course, being 25 minutes away, that helps.
Yeah.
But those are three good tournaments for us.
Okay. What about non-conference opponents this year outside of the South 7 this year? Anybody different on the schedule this year?
Well, we still have Benton, we still have Jerseyville, still have Waterloo, Lovejoy. Believe it or not, I just moved Benton and Effingham to different Tuesdays at their request. So our schedule has changed a little bit. It'd be nice, you in today's age, you just don't do it and it's done. It just kind of keeps rolling. Our freshman schedule will change a little bit. I talked to Ken at DeSmit, and he was wanting maybe get together and play some freshman games, so that would be nice.
Sure.
We could do something there, like go over there, and they could come over here. And so who knows? They may even be an opponent that we play.
Yeah. Well, that could be cool down the line.
Wise could be another team that we can play, and of course I won't like coaching against Kent, and just as I won't like coaching against Gus.
Right.
It's not fun coaching against friends and.
Yeah.
But for that hour and a half, we'll compete and then go from there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Danny, got anything else you want to add?
Well, I was just saying, Coach, I know you probably already started looking at this Marion tournament a little bit, or this Pyramid Plus. Should be some pretty good competition down there in that tournament.
Absolutely. I hope Harre wins today, so they go one more week. I don't know how many of their basketball guys are playing football, but I don't know if that'll happen. But the thing is, I feel like we can compete with every team there, but we can also lose every game. So it's one of those things, like, we got a chance. I know that Shane does a great job with Cartersville, but I feel like we can play with them. They lost some good players. Meridian we beat last year, but they're very athletic. Marion's got some big old bodies back. I know Gus will do a good job. So I feel like we can compete. And Harre's got the young shirts coaching them now, and they'll be athletic. They lost some size and some players from last year. And Collinsville will always be good. So I feel like, hey, all those teams can get us, but I feel like also that, hey, we can beat them also.
Well, as a coach, that's what you look for. You like to have the opportunity. You like to think when you're going in that you're going to be able to compete. If you can do the things your teams need to do to be successful, you at least think you got a sporting chance going in.
Well, I hope so. If we do things right, I feel like we got a chance to win.
All right. Well, college basketball kicked off last night too. I'm sure you watched some hoops last night. I think you were watching some of that Michigan State game last night, weren't you?
I watched SLU with Jordan Goodwin. I watched Michigan State. I watched Villanova. I watched Missouri. That was kind of fun. Then I watched the whole UCLA at night. But I talked to Parker. I talked to Jackson about, hey, watch how hard Michigan State's playing defensively, and we talked about the same thing at Mizzou. The good teams guard you. They get after you. They make it tough, and that's what we got to do. Our emphasis this year is we got to get better defensively. We got to be a little more physical, and we got to compete on the glass a little bit if we want to win in our league. Of course, that's what we want to do.
Well, speaking of your league, the South 7 Conference, you won't have to contend with Mr. Goodwin this year. He finally graduated there at Althoff, so
yeah, but they probably got 3 more to replace him.
Well, they could, but I don't know if they'll have one of those guys. But they've been awfully good. But I felt like we competed against them last year. We got into like a 3-4 point game late last year. Goodwin was there. Then they came here, and they came right down to the wire. They got a big offensive rebound and got a 3-point play at the end to put us away. But I feel like we'll have a chance to win there.
Yeah, they panicked a little bit against you last year. They weren't used to being in a tight game down the stretch like that. So
No. We were pretty good 2 years ago. They were beating us by 40. Of course, that's when they won the championship.
Right. First home game at the new Shagnon Gymnasium. That will be what date?
That is Friday, December 1st. We're going to try to have a little celebrate. Stan Shagnon, just a new gym. Have the grandsons come down, Shagnon, and I'm not quite sure what all we're going to do, but it'll be nice. And Marion's coming in, and Gus, who I'm good friends with and coached with for several years, will be there too. So that'll make it even a little more special.
Well, it will. Well, that's great.
It should be a good game. It should be a really, really good game.
Yeah, sure will be. Doug, we'll let you go. We appreciate your time this morning, and good luck as you continue to prepare for that opening tournament down there at Marion, okay?
Can't believe it's basketball time, Randy.
I know. It's great.
It's unbelievable.
And take good care of that.
It's my fourth year back after being off sick. And I'm like, where'd those years go?
All right.
Start again.
That's right. Here we go. Hey, take good care of that puppy, too, will you?
Hey, he's a superstar.
I'm sure he is.
All right. See you guys.
See you. Okay. Bye-bye. Head coach Doug Creel of the Mount Vernon Rams, also athletic director. He's got him a puppy now, too. Danny.
Oh, so, yeah? Is that going to be his mascot or what?
I don't know, but him and Kelly are officially dog people now, so it's pretty funny. Pretty funny to watch that happen. But, okay, the Rams will open up down at the Pyramid Plus tournament. That's going to be a competitive tournament, Danny. You got Marion, Carterville, Harre, Meridian, and the Rams, and good coaches down there, too.
Oh, yeah. It should be a great tournament to kick off the season down there.
Really will. Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out what's up with the Fairfield Mules. We'll talk with Coach Scott McElravy. They've had their first week of practice. We'll see how things are going for him and preview the Mules this year. We'll do that right after these messages. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Skateland Roller Sport in Fairfield invites you to the Christian Family Skate this coming Monday, November 13th from 6:30 until 8:30 p.m. Bring your family and enjoy the fun of skating at Skateland Roller Sport, while many of your favorite Christian songs are playing on the loudspeakers, just like you hear on the Vine. It's Christian Family Skate this Monday evening, November 13th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Skateland Roller Sport, located at 1700 West Main Street in Fairfield.
Joe's Pizza in Mount Vernon is a faithful underwriting sponsor of 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine. Joe's Pizza offers Italian cuisine as well as delicious sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Joe's Pizza also features daily pasta and pizza specials and all-you-can-eat spaghetti on Thursdays. Joe's Pizza is located at 819 Jordan Street in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-2600, and their website is orderjoes.com.
Fall is the time of year when tractors get very popular. Echo lifers, those people who really love their land, they know the value of a good tractor. Whether you're tilling the soil or dealing with vegetation, Yanmar offers the tools to get the job done right and in an earth-friendly fashion. We are Main Street Shop in Fairfield, Illinois, and we want to tell you more about Yanmar's compact tractors and the attachments that go with them. Fall? Well, that's courtesy of God. Making your chores easy? Now that's Yanmar. Main Street Shop in Fairfield. Wow. Zoom.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch, here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 Divine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. We are previewing 6 area high school basketball teams this morning, and let's talk right now about the Fairfield Mules with head coach Scott McElravy. He's on the phone with us now. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
Great to have you on the show, and can you believe basketball season's rolled around here again? Here we go.
It has came by fast. I enjoy the fall, watching football and everything, and then all of a sudden it's basketball time.
Yeah, and what a football season it was this year. What a football season it was this year for the Mules. Wow, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
We did have a lot of fun. Ran into a really good team in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that team is still alive, too. In fact, they're at home today in the quarterfinals against Anna Jonesboro. But that Vandalia bunch, yeah, they were a tough football team.
Yes.
But take nothing away from the Mules, and an incredible season. And a lot of those guys that played football also play basketball for your Mules as well.
We have quite a few. I would say probably 60% of our guys play or so.
Yeah.
And we've got some golfers and other things as well, so it's not cross-country runners.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we've got a good mix of kids.
All right. So tell us about the first week of practice and how things have gone.
Very good. It's been very competitive. We've got 16 sophomores through seniors, which is not a lot, but that's worked out really well for us. We feel like we've got a lot of depth, and the guys know this year that starting spots are going to be hard to come by. We may have a different lineup each night just because there's a lot of guys that are close. So we feel like that makes it a lot deeper and better as a team when guys, if guys will buy into the roles, have good attitude, we hopefully will be pretty competitive.
Well, I think it will be competitive because you got a lot of talent coming up that are now sophomores, and as well as your other returning guys. And so I would say the competition in practice will probably be pretty fierce for those starting roles.
It has been so far, and the guys this first week, everything's new, but they've had a good attitude, and even though you're competing, that guy's going to be your teammate on Tuesday and Friday night. So they've got to remember that as well. But we've had a really good week so far.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Coach, that's one nice thing about having a group like this, that when it comes time to have practice and stuff, you can replicate a lot of things and have a competition. A lot of time there's a big difference between your varsity team and your JV team, and it's really hard to push that. I know I look back at some of the teams from the 80s there at Hamilton County, and, the varsity team in front of me went 24-5, but us as juniors went 18-0, and we could take them to the limit every day.
Yeah, I think Coach Book is smiling because I think he knows his JV team's going to be very competitive this year. Because he's got a lot of young kids that are wanting some time there as well. We've got 5 seniors this year, one being a foreign exchange student. Then everybody else, is junior or below. So we like what we have.
is this foreign exchange student about 6'6"?
Let's try 6'3". Is that
Well,
okay?
he usually it seems to be you have a pretty big one, so it's
We've
not.
only had one.
It's nice. It's
We've only
nice
had
to
one.
have.
He was a nice player.
It's nice to have those kids, though, isn't it?
Oh, he's a great kid. His name's Luca Borda. He's from Italy. Super nice kid. Competing with the guys for spots. He's maybe the language and things. He's working really hard with all that, and he's fitting in okay with our guys.
Well, Coach, that always adds a great thing to your atmosphere. I know we had a foreign exchange student when I played at Hamilton County, and he created some fun things in practice. Matter of fact, he was a soccer player, was his sport in his hometown. And one night he bet Coach Lee, a killer, that he could kick a basketball in from the free throw line. If he made it, Coach Lee had to run a killer, and Coach Lee wound up running the killer.
That's actually pretty funny. I like to see that.
Yeah. Well, hey, you opened the season with in the Lawrence County Capital Classic, as you have for a number of years now, and on your side of the ledger there, you've got Teotopolis, Marshall, and Lawrenceville to kick things off up there.
Very tough. Very tough, yes. I think we've been up there for about 15 years. You can't, people every year say, man, why don't we do very good up there? Well, pretty much every year, the winner of that tournament, or sometimes it's even the second place team, they're in Peoria.
You're right.
So it's not like we're saying, hey, they're a good team. No, they're a great team that are up there. That first day we start off with Lawrenceville. Coach Bishop has over 600 wins. 2 years ago, they're in the sectional finals against Seatown in a great game. And then, that evening we play the Wooden Shoes again. It's been a few years since we played them, and I don't have a kid on the team that had a chance to go against them, so they're kind of excited now. We know that they're a top 5, top 10 team in state, not just Southern Illinois. So that's a great thing for our kids. In basketball, you're allowed to play 3 tournaments and all that, so it's good to get a mix of different teams to go against. It's going to be very tough, though, but we're excited about it.
Yeah, the other side of the tournament up there, the games that will be played in first round at Bridgeport and Red Hill High School will be Red Hill, Mount Carmel, Olney, and Salem. And then depending upon how you do, of course, in your pool will determine who you'll play out of that pool that final day. But, yeah, some great competition up there with Lawrenceville, T-Town, and Marshall. And you know a lot about your team after you play up there, win or lose, don't you?
You do, and you may take some lumps. I mean, you go up there. I went 2-2 up there and been just ecstatic. The year that we went to the sectionals a few years ago with the Lackey and Gifford team, we went 1-3. So it's tough. It's very tough. Salem is going to be very good this year. Coach Fehrenbacher, I believe this is his 3rd year. Previous T-Town coach. They're very competitive. Mount Carmel would be a top 5 team as well. Their Division I 6A kid is out, but they're still very good. So you can't find any weak teams up there.
What is the report on the young man from Mount Carmel? Is he going to get back in to play basketball this year or not?
I've heard differing things. I mean, he's got a D1 scholarship. He's a tight end going to Wyoming. I've heard, if they can make it, a good ways, like through regionals, he might be able to come back. I've heard maybe a little sooner. I've heard not at all. So I haven't talked to Coach Buss lately about that, but he's a good kid.
Oh, yeah. You just hate to see that happen.
That he's not there. He's a good player. He's easily first-team All-Stater, 2A, without a doubt. That's tough when you lose somebody like that on your team.
Oh, it sure is. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Black Diamond Conference. As you look at the conference, how do you see the Mules fitting in and the rest of the conference? And what's your anticipation this year?
Well, El Dorado brings a lot of kids back. They were a regional champ last year. They upset Mount Carmel at Mount Carmel in the regular season. They're big. This is a group, Atterbury and Traxler led, that they've been high on for a long time. So I'm sure that they're thinking, hey, this is our year for the conference, and probably should be for them. I know Albion, Coach Gerlach brings back a good group of juniors as well. lost Schmittler inside and a good guard in Bobby Bray. But they'll be good as well. And then you've got us and Carmi, and I don't know as much about Hamco and JC this year, but I know Coach Varner and JC's coach, they do a good job. So BDC East is tough. I think there's going to be some really good games this year. I think there could be multiple teams with, at the end of the year, you look at your record and you could have 20 wins.
Yeah. Well, also looking at your schedule, you're obviously still involved in the El Dorado Holiday Tournament and the Carmi Invitational Tournament, and I'm looking at your non-conference schedule. Looks like you got Flora and Olney and Sisney and Wayne City and Lawrenceville, I think, are your teams on your non-conference schedule.
We picked up Olney this year, too, so we're going to go face Coach Flanagan, which will be tough.
Yeah.
3A school there. They're an old NEC team. They're a team that we haven't seen in a while as well. They used to be at the Carmi tournament, but when they got into LIC, they have their own conference tournament, so they had to bow out of that. But, non-conference is tough, too. I mean, we just don't have a lot of games where you can just walk in and say, hey, we've got this one by 20 and not have to work too hard. But I do think that makes it better at the end of the year.
Well, you get better by playing better competition, Coach, and when you get pushed night in, night out, you have to improve your game, and you're right. It basically seasons you for the tournament season.
I think so, and we're seeing that with our kids this year. We've just got, we don't have that first-team All-Stater, but we got a lot of really solid kids, I think. And when you're pushing for spots in practice, that's hopefully going to make us better as a team. So, we've still got a lot of guys that haven't had a ton of varsity experience. So when you go up to the Capital Classic right off the bat, that's tough. It's not like last night Illinois playing Southern University out of Texas or wherever. We're playing tough teams right off the bat. So you're thrown in the fire really early. But I think we'll be okay.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate your time this morning, and best of luck. You can continue to practice and prepare for that Lawrence County Capital Classic, and we look forward to talking to you throughout the season, Coach. All right?
Hey, I appreciate it, guys.
Yep. Good luck to your mules.
Take care. All righty. Bye-bye. That is head coach Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules, and you know what? They got a lot of talent on that team, and some of it's still pretty young. That sophomore bunch, of course, a lot of talent there, and that's going to be real competitive too.
He's got a team that's got a lot of similarity through about 9 or 10 kids, and that's definitely going to be a strength for his team over there. And got a couple groups that's done real well at that junior high state tournament, so they're looking for the success to continue over at Fairfield.
Oh, I think so, and I can understand why he says that, maybe we will have different lineup, each night, tweak that lineup here and there each night, because he's going to have about 9 guys anyway that could probably all start at any time, I would say.
Well, and, that's going to be a challenge for the coach right there, trying to get playing time to not only keep the kids happy, but to keep mom and dad happy.
Well, that's right. No, you're right. There's a lot of truth to that as well. All right, well, when we come back, we're going to talk to Wayne Harre, the head basketball coach of the Nashville Hornets. That's right. He's taking over the boys program after several successful years leading the girls program. We'll talk to Wayne-O coming up next here on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.
Are you going out of town for a vacation or a weekend getaway? What are you going to do with your dog? That's easy. There's Jagger's Doggy Daycare in Mount Vernon. Jaggers Doggy Daycare is your one-stop shop for overnight dog boarding, doggy daycare, as well as dog grooming and obedience dog training. It's your dog's home away from home, and they will thrive, and they'll get one-on-one attention by a great staff. More information is available on the web at jaggersdoggydaycare.com. Jaggers Doggy Daycare, 414 Main Street in Mount Vernon.
Real Life Radio thanks Fairfield Printing and Graphics for their partnership in local Christian radio ministry. Fairfield Printing and Graphics offers custom sizing for banners and signs, as well as yard signs, corrugated signs, and metal signs. Fairfield Printing and Graphics also specializes in custom t-shirts, business cards, wedding invitations, hats, bags, and much more. They are located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-4048.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net. Live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. We are previewing some of the area boys high school basketball teams this morning on the Sports Couch. We've already visited with Coach Doug Creel of the Mount Vernon Rams and Coach Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules. And let's talk to the new boys head basketball coach over at Nashville, the Nashville Hornets. And that is someone that's no stranger to anyone when it comes to basketball hoops. But he's wearing a little bit different title now, and that's Wayne Harre. Good morning, Wayne. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Great. Good to have you on the Sports Couch. And what a change for you. You've decided after many, many successful years of coaching the girls basketball program over there and then stepping back for a little bit, you're getting back into it, but you're taking over the boys program, and there's a lot of anticipation for that this year, and I'm sure you're excited.
Yeah, and, it's a learning experience, and it'll be a little different for me, and it's something that I did know for sure if I wanted to do it. I was kind of going back and forth when Coach Weathers decided that he was going to retire, and but talking to my wife and the family, and they said give it a shot. So so I'm here and coach at my alma mater and see what happens anyway.
Yeah, that's exciting. It really is to be able to coach at your alma mater where you played as well. But, boy, you can't argue with the success that you had with the girls program. And I mean, a tip of the cap to you with all the regionals that you won and all the trips to the state tournament and a lot of hardware in that trophy case there at Nashville and coaching the Hornets. And I know you'd love to see that transition over to the boys program. What do you see as the biggest challenge for you, Wayne, as when you move from coaching girls to coaching boys?
Well, I think just getting used to, I coached JV here for about 12 years, and just getting back to the speed of the game and how fast things happen and different, and how much better the boys have become since I've been on the boys side. How much individually, how better they've gotten. Getting used to that a little bit and seeing what they can do and what they can't do, strength wise and between that and the girls' game is tremendous now, so that's a learning experience for me. And of course, what helps me is I got three good assistants that stayed over from Brad, Patrick Weathers, and Jason Guess and Kelly Cruiser. Mm-hmm. So I'll rely on them a lot. And just like I did on the girls' side, I had some great assistant coaches. So it's a team effort here. But hopefully that. I can, that we can keep it going, keep the winning ways going here at Nashville, and we've got a big challenge on our hands. We lost four senior starters, and, we're about we're the ones that had most seniors on our team, and everybody else has got everybody back. So it's going to be a big challenge for us to play every night. I think, there's no gimme games on our schedule. Our schedule is one of the toughest in the state, and we're going to have our hands full.
You're absolutely right about that. That River Conference is real difficult night in and night out. There's just really no time to take a night off at all. But, losing 4 starters, that's certainly a concern. Talk about some of the key guys that are returning to the Hornets to play basketball for you this year.
Well, we've got the one returning starter, Bryce Boltman. He's a junior, and so we'll look to him to hopefully come back and have a good year for us. We've got there's two Parker boys, Cameron and Carson Parker. They'll be playing quite a bit for us, and We got a senior, Jake Haley, decided to come back out, and he gives us a little athletic ability. And then we got Brandon Schnitker. He started part-time for us. He's back as a senior, and he decided to come back for his senior year, so that was good. So we've still got a lot of learning experience for us. We've got some people, but we don't have a lot of really big time game experience. So when I was coaching on the girls' side, until they've experienced some of that, we've got the one player that's been through it, but other than that, we really haven't had a whole lot of that right now.
Yeah, I understand. And your tournament, you're going to kick off right away with a Thanksgiving time tournament there with Mascoutah and Westland there at the Westland tournament. And who are some of the teams that you'll compete with in that tournament, Wayne?
Well, it's much tougher than it was. What they decided to do is Westland and Mascoutah decided to make it a combination tournament. They'll have it 1 year at their place and one year at Westland and 1 year at Mascoutah. And this year it's at Mascoutah, and so it's Mascoutah and Columbia, Westland, Waterloo, and us. So it's a much tougher tournament than it has been in the past. So we're competing against some real quality schools, and just so happened that most everybody's got everybody back except us. So that's I guess I'll get baptized in a hurry over there. That's what they're telling me. So we'll see.
Is that a round robin tournament? Is that how the format is then?
Yeah, that's round robin. So you'll play 4 games. So. Hopefully we'll be okay over there.
Well, you're going to know a lot about your Hornets after playing 4 games right out of the gate.
Yeah, and it's quality competition. So, we're hoping that we can keep our head above water. That's what we're hoping to do here. But one thing about it, I think we'll play hard and hopefully defensively that we can get people stopped. But sometimes that's a chore on the boys' side sometimes.
He thinks they'll play hard, Randy. Do you want to bet on that?
Oh, I know they'll play hard.
I guarantee you, Wayne Harre team's going to play hard.
Oh, I guarantee that too. Yeah.
He thinks they'll play hard. Come on, Wayne.
I'm hoping they'll play hard. I think if they don't, then we'll probably have some adjustments being made out there.
I'm pretty sure there'll be some adjustments. And probably 4 minutes into the first quarter.
That's probably true. That's probably right.
Well, looking at your schedule here, obviously you're still in the Modern Day tournament, and that's another brutal tournament that's got great competition in it every year. You have your own Nashville Invitational tournament, and you've always got quality competition in that as well. And then looking at your non-conference schedule, looks like you got Benton on the schedule, and then also, of course, Oakville, Greenville, and Carlisle. Am I missing anybody else there?
And Oakville, and Jabot. Waterloo
Jabot's on there too. Okay, So you're right. Your schedule is tough, night in and night out. You don't have any cupcakes on there.
No, that's what my assistants were telling me. They're saying, there's no one that you're going to say in there. Well, we're just going to win this one. I mean, no matter, that's not going to happen this year. We could, it's a toss up when we're stepping on the floor every night. So, if we don't come to play, we're going to get beat. So. We're trying to get them used to it, and in practice, put pressure on them, and understand try to play every possession like it means something. It's very important to us, and we can't give possessions away because we really I was talking to Coach Weathers last night, and we were talking about our team, and he's been here a while, and he said it's probably the first time in. Oh, he said, I can't remember that we really don't have, just that big post player, and we just don't have that this year. And so it's been a while in Nashville High School, and in the history of Nashville High School, we really don't have a big time post player. So we're going to see what happens. It's going to be a different look, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is odd because you're right. Year in, year out, you've always had at least one big post player through the years there.
Yeah, and we just don't have that. I mean, we might have one down the road, but right now we do not. So it'll be a different look for sure for our fans and the people that we're playing for sure.
As you look at the conference, River to River Conference, how do you size that up, and who do you see as the teams that are going to be challenging for the conference crown there?
Well, of course, you got to go with Pinckneyville. I think Coach Wagner is probably one of the better teams he's going to have. I think he has a real good chance. I mean, they're loaded, and I think they got a transfer in that they got a transfer that's a post player, which they which they haven't had, 6'5", 6'6" post player. So that's really going to help them. Their guards are as good as anybody in the state. So, you got to go with them first, and then I think the DuQuoin Indians, with the sophomore, the big sophomore kid in there, I think he's rated one of the top 10 sophomores in the whole state of Illinois, and they've got some guards to go with him, so I think they're looking forward to a great year, and they've got everybody back, and and Anna's always, Coach Chambers does a great job down there, and they always play hard. There'll be a handful, and Sparta, I think Coach Norris is, they were playing a lot of freshmen last year on the varsity, and they got everybody back, so it just doesn't stop sometimes, and Coach Hawkins, Carterville, if the Ford kid's going to play, you're talking about a kid that's going to big time football school. We're trying to guard him in there, and and they've always got great athletes, on a school that size. So, it's going to be tough on us. There's no question about that.
Yeah. One other thing I see on your schedule, Wayno, is Rich Heron Classic. You're going to be participating in that on February 3rd, and of course you don't know who the opponent is yet on that, but that'll be a neat experience too.
Yeah, and they just announced that. Coach Weinmiller sent me an email. We're going to play Harrisburg, and they've got that big time point guard they've got. So so we'll be playing them there, the last game of the night. So again, that's not a give me either. So it's going to be it's just a night in, night out. We'll be bruised up. There's no question about that.
So Coach Weinmiller didn't do you any favors there, then?
Oh, Coach Weinmiller, you know what I'm saying? He didn't do you a whole lot of favors there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I think it's great you have them on the schedule too. In December 16th, I think they come to your place, and I think that's great to have Benton on your schedule, really. So.
Yeah, he's a great guy. You always have a good time with him, and he's a class individual, and he's got the program going in the right direction. They've won all them games, and he got the sectional title last year. And I went over there and watched that game, and really battled the Orphans to the end. And he just had a great year there for sure.
Yeah, you needed a shoehorn to get into the gym that night. That place was jam packed.
Yeah, I know. I kind of stood in the corner there, and it was a great game to watch. Great athletes out there, and it's a great atmosphere. You don't see that much in high school boys basketball anymore, and very seldom do you get to see that.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, one thing about it, Wayne, your team and his team will match up size-wise because Ron's kind of like you. He doesn't have that big post-size player to go to, and they're going to be very guard-orientated this season.
Yeah, that's kind of what they were looking for last year too. If they just had a big post player, they would have, been much more dangerous as a team. But he's got to play in, and they're very fundamentally sound. All their guards and all their players, and he's got them go. Like I said, he's got to go out and go and play. He's got them playing hard, and they like playing for Coach Weinmiller. You can tell that, and but he's done a great job over there for sure.
Hey, I noticed your daughter Jordy is back playing college basketball for SIU Edwardsville. That's pretty exciting. What prompted that all of a sudden?
Well, that's a good question. She came home this summer and she says, "Dad, I think I want to try out for the basketball team." I said, "You sure you want to do that, Junior?" I said, "I don't know if you want to do that or not." And she goes, "Yeah, I think so." So I kind of thought, it's just one of those things those kids say. I don't think, we'll see. Well, she kind of went on her own and got in the gym in the summer this summer and kind of worked on it. I worked more than I thought. I kind of, you lose track of them when they get older like that.
Right.
And you don't see them all the time because they're all over the place. But I guess she worked pretty hard, and then when they had the walk-ons, and she goes, I'm going to do it. I said, "Okay, you sure you're going to do this?" Because I said, "Junior, I walked on at Southern. It's very tough. It's a tough deal. You got to, they're going to put you through the ringer. They're going to make sure that you want to do this."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Yeah." So she had a tryout, and they kind of liked her, and she said, "Dad, I think I'm going to make it." I said, "Well, what does that mean, make it?" I said, "Is that going to be like you're on the team?" I said, "Sometimes you're just a practice player. You don't get to travel." She said, "Well, I don't really know." So I said, "Well, you need to ask the coach." And she said, "Yeah, okay." So she did, and she said, "Well, we're going to still watch you another week and see how you're going to do against us." So she practiced with him another week, and she called me. She said, "I'm really bruised up," but she goes, "I got something to say." She goes, "I'm going to get to travel." I said, "Well, that's tremendous."
Wow,
I said,
awesome.
"That's great." And I said, "Now, I may not get to play a whole lot," but she goes, "Well, I just want to be part of this and see how it goes." I said, "Well, that's good." I said, "Just enjoy it, and make sure it's all about who you meet down the road, and that's what I was just fortunate to play at Southern for Coach Harre and all the people that I got to meet.
Right.
Playing with Coach Mata and just some things like that. You don't realize what's going to happen down the road. And I told her the same thing. I said, meet those people, and that might that's great. Later in life, you just don't you cherish those things a lot.
Right, lifelong friends that you made, and she will make too, no doubt. Well, that's exciting. That's exciting. I knew she had played, of course, college volleyball and softball at Kaskaskia, and then had kind of laid out from sports, but that's really tremendous that she can come back and play another game that she loves in basketball and be able to excel at a level enough to be able to do that for SIU Edwardsville. So that's we're excited for her, and congratulations to you and the whole family. That's neat.
Well, I appreciate it. They're at my wife went out. They're playing Nebraska today at 3:00, so they're out there playing. So we'll see how that goes today.
Okay. One more thing before we let you go, Wayne. Obviously, college basketball kicked off last night. Who do you like to watch in college basketball?
Well, I don't know if I really like. I mean, I just like kind of watching everybody. I kind of like just taking every game in and see who kind of try to learn as I watch.
Sure.
I really don't. I don't really have a favorite team. I was a big Buckeye fan. I'll be honest with you. Till Thad let that go.
Right.
So I kind of cooled down a little bit off that, but I really don't have a favorite team. But I just kind of like watching it.
Yeah. Well, my Michigan State Spartans looked pretty good last night, and they're pretty.
Well, they should against a cupcake.
Well, yeah, but they're tuning up for Duke on Tuesday night.
My goodness, Wayne would like to have one like that on his schedule.
I'd like to have one like that. That would be fine with me.
Well, yeah, Michigan State's going to win 30 games this winter, but 10 of them's going to be right here off the bat against guys. I'm surprised Nashville Hornets aren't playing.
Oh, now come on now.
Come on now.
Yeah. Now, Tuesday night, there's a big game. You got number 1 Duke and number 2 Michigan State Tuesday night, so that's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah.
That'll be a good matchup.
That'll be a great matchup.
I'll give that. That's for sure.
Wayne, hey, we appreciate your time, and welcome back to the coaching ranks, and excited to see how you do there with the Nashville Hornets. I know this first year may be a little bit tough, kind of rebuilding and whatnot, but I know you'll get them licked into shape, and it's going to be fun, and we look forward to visiting with you down the road, okay?
Hey, anytime. It's always good talking to you guys. No question.
Thank you. Take care.
Randy.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. See you guys.
Okay, bye-bye. That is Wayne Harre, the head coach of the Nashville Hornets, and no post player, no big post player at Nashville, and that's a rarity when you think of the Lucas O'Rears and the others that they've had down through the years.
The Wayne Harres.
Yeah, and his one returning starter is a junior.
Yeah.
So
tells you how young a team
he's got a really, really young team, a really young guard-oriented team. But if you know anything about Wayne Harre, and you know what a workhorse he always has been.
I like these deals. Hopefully we can play hard. This guy would run through a concrete wall, and he's wondering if his team's going to play hard.
Yeah, I think they'll play hard.
Yeah, I guarantee you, when you leave, you'll know you've battled the Nashville Hornets.
I think they'll play hard. That's for sure. All right. Again, we've got playoff football taking place again today. If you just joined us, Danny, you want to run through that schedule of some of the area high school football playoff games again? I'll get our next guest on the line. Can we do that?
Yeah. Today, the only 2 local teams left playing, the Anna Jonesboro Wildcats, are on the bus right now. They're headed to Vandalia. They're going to take on the Vandalia Vandals there in 3A football. Should be a great game up there today. Those 2 teams match up very well size-wise, strength-wise. They both want to run the football, so should be a very competitive game. And then in 4A, the Harre Tigers are going to take on Rochester today, the defending state champs. They've won it 6 out of 7 years in a row. And like Doug Creel said, they may be a public school, but they're a public-private. So Harre could get their eyes opened here today, but you never know. Yeah,
that's right. Red Hill in Class 1A, they've got a home game today. They're in the quarterfinals. They play Athens today in 1A at home at Red Hill. That's been a good year for those Red Hill Salukis.
Yes, the Salukis have a great year too. And in 1A, you kind of get lost off of that because really there's not a lot of local schools in 1A. So hopefully they'll have a good deal here up at Red Hill today.
The closest team left in 2A would be Shelbyville. They travel today at Westville. I wouldn't really call Shelbyville local to us, but that would be the closest team left, I think, in 2A. And in 7A, East St. Louis is the only team anywhere south of Interstate 70 that's still alive. And get this, they have to travel all the way up to Chicago, Mount Carmel to play today.
Yeah, that's a little bus ride.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bus ride. Edwardsville is the only team south of Interstate 70 that's still alive in 8A, and they've got a home game today. Edwardsville will take on Minooka today in the football playoffs. So now a lot of people will be watching or paying attention to that Vandalia-Anna Jonesboro game today.
That'd be a great
3A.
football game.
Yeah, and one other team from that South Central Conference, Carlinville, which really was the team that won that conference this year, they're still alive. They are at home today against Pleasant Plains. So you got two teams in the quarterfinals of Class 3A football playoffs, both from that South Central Conference. That's just a tough football conference.
Oh, yeah. And you could see two teams from there playing.
You could. So it'd be interesting. All right, well, we're going to talk about the Hamilton County Foxes right now as we continue to preview the area boys high school basketball teams. Jeremy Varner, head coach of the Foxes, joins us right now. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
Hey, guys. Good morning. I'm doing well. How about you?
Great. Good to have you on the show, and tell us how practice has been going this week so far for the Foxes.
Well, it's been going pretty good. We've gone every day this week. We haven't had anything in the morning. I kind of have been telling them that we haven't needed a morning practice yet, kind of motivating them a little bit in the afternoon, but that's always on the table. But, they're working hard, and I'm lucky enough to have, three seniors coming back that have all started some since they were sophomore. And, they're really looking forward to the year, worked really hard. Can't talk enough about how much leadership they've shown, this week, talking to younger guys and getting them ready for the year. So it's been good so far.
We'll talk a little bit about your Foxes and some of the guys you do have returning, Jeremy, and let's talk a little bit about the Black Diamond Conference, what your thoughts are going to be on that this season.
Okay. Well, we've got Jake Whipple, who I believe he started probably every game since he was a sophomore, coming back, and, he's going to be relied on heavily on both ends of the court, and, I think he's ready to contribute a little bit more offensively this year, and there's some buckets that he left out on the table last year, and I think he's pretty motivated to make sure that those go in. Matt Rubenacker, do what?
On Jake, I was going to say, one of the keys to him will be able to stay on the floor. He gets a little bit of foul trouble sometimes, and he has to realize that he cannot help your team sitting over there beside you.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. He's definitely a physical player. He can get up in the air, jumps really well, and so that's definitely something that he'll be looking at, especially that first week down at Goreville. He'll have to figure that out pretty quick if he wants to be out there. At a point guard, probably going to be Matt Rubenacker. He started since his sophomore year too, off and on. But he's a good little player, handles the ball pretty well, pretty good shooter, real good free throw shooter. We definitely want him to get to the line this year a lot more, and just try to attack the defense. And then Kyle Van Abema is the other senior that has started some since his sophomore year, and good post defender and streaky, good little shooter when he'll put one up. I've been trying to get him to be a little more aggressive with his shot. He's got a nice little shot if he'll put it up.
Well, another big thing for him is he's left-handed, and even at that high school level, that's just a different look for a lot of kids, and they're used to coming up on one side of a kid. And now, this guy here, that's his strong side instead of his weak side, Yeah,
and he could take advantage of that. Sometimes he doesn't feel like he's got a shot when it's just sitting there right in front of him, just because of what you said. It's from the other side, and people aren't really used to guarding that. It's hard to practice guarding that in practice. If you don't have a lefty, it's hard to guard against that. We have a couple other kids that I see probably starting juniors, Hunter Braden and Randy Schaefer, and both of those guys got a few minutes last year. But we graduated a lot of seniors, and these two probably would have gotten a little more playing time had we not been so heavy with seniors last year. But those two are both looking pretty good, and we have a senior move in from Mount Vernon. He's been at Waltonville, I believe, too, in the past couple of years. Dylan Boykin, 5'9" point guard, shoot guard. He's a good little shooter too, and we're glad to have him. He's been good to have, and then probably the other two right now I see maybe in this first week getting some minutes would be a sophomore, Zach Weaver, and freshman Robbie Morgan. Those two guys are both going to help us in the post and have had a real good week. So, those 9 right now. There's some other guys that could work their way into it, but so far those are probably the top players, I would say.
The Weaver boy, has he growed any over the summer?
Yeah, he's long and lanky. 6'2", 6'3", maybe. He's probably right in between those two, and he really wants to play varsity basketball. That's all in his head. He doesn't like going down to the other end and playing with the JVs. He gets motivated to come back and play with us, and that's what you want from your younger guys. That's the ultimate goal, anyways, to come up and play varsity. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and got pretty good numbers out this season, Coach.
Yeah, we have. I think we've got 18 sophomore, junior, seniors. I think we got four seniors and 3 juniors, and then 10 sophomores, and I think we've got 11 freshmen. So yeah, we got pretty decent numbers, close to 30, I think, in the whole program, and so it's going well. The kids that need to be out are all out, and that's the main goal.
Oh yeah,
need to be playing. Got to come out and play.
You're going to open the season down there at Goreville. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think we start out this year with Hardin County, which will be kind of a nice change from the last 2 years when we got to play the best 2 teams Benton's had in the last 15 years, probably. That Benton team will still be pretty salty, but losing Oxford and Wills and Henson, they'll still be the pick to win it. That's for sure. But we start out with Hardin County, and then I think we play Goreville on Tuesday night, and they'll be really nice. They got the Webb boy that's a really good scorer, and I think we play Benton on that Friday night, and then we finish with Anna Jonesboro and Johnson City on Saturday. So it'll be a tough week, and we'll kind of see where we are pretty early, and move on from there. But I cautiously optimistic. But these boys want to win. That's all they've talked about since they've been in here, and you can tell by the way they're running their sprints. You can tell by the way they're talking to the underclassmen and helping them along, and getting them in the right spots and just being leaders that. They're ready to turn the corner. They're ready to turn the page this year and, bring some pride back to the county. So
well, that's a big step forward right there. You got to want to do it, and you got to have the desire and be willing to put in the effort. Sounds like your team's going to have some strengths this season. You got the 3 returning starters, and those guys are going to have to step up. This is their time. To showcase what they got, and they've got some ability, and I think they can get the job done. And looking at that Black Diamond Conference, though, that Black Diamond East, that's going to be brutal this season. You got the El Dorado Eagles with their Giants back. The Fairfield Mules are loaded. Carmi's always got a good team. Edwards County's got several returning starters. There's just no gimmies, is there?
There's not an off night in the conference at all. And we've talked about this as a team. One of our goals is just to get up ahead of a couple of those teams that we've been behind the last 2 years. And what we kind of said is a top 3. We want to be in the top 3. Now first place is included in the top 3 last time I checked, but we want to be somewhere in that top 3, you know, and I think that's a realistic goal if you know, we come out and defend the way we know we're capable of defending, and we run the court, get some easy buckets, and we just stop people from getting easy buckets. I mean, we had 5 or 6 games last year where in the fourth quarter we just gave up an easy bucket or two that was we just weren't focused, and, you know, that kind of changed the game. We had some momentum, and then someone doesn't defend, and they get an easy bucket or an easy putback because somebody didn't box out, and then you go from, you know, being down 2 with the momentum to being down 4 all of a sudden, 2-possession game again. So, you know, little things like that we've talked about. We really look a little more situationally this year than we have the last couple, just because I think the experience they've had, you know, that's kind of what we need to spend some time on, make sure that we're, you know where we're at in the game and what needs to be done at certain times. So,
yeah,
you know,
it's all about game management. Every possession is David Lee used to say you need to value that basketball as a piece of gold. Every trip, it should be that's how important it is to you.
Absolutely. Turnovers, you know, it's not just turnovers, too. It's bad shots. I mean, a bad shot is a turnover. You know, I mean, you got to make sure that you get the guys that can shoot the basketball. You got to get them in the places where they can make baskets, and so yeah, we're working forward and looking forward and excited. I mean, I can't tell you how excited this group is to come to practice on Saturday morning at 8:00 when they've gone every day all week. I mean, they want to come in, and if anyone said, any of the underclassmen that have complained about it, I didn't have to say a word about it. Those guys were on it, and so it's nice to have the leadership like that you don't have to, the coach doesn't have to be the one that's driving the bus, you know.
Yeah.
When your leaders are driving the bus, it's a lot better.
Well, Coach, we want to wish you good luck on this season. Look forward to talking to you some more throughout the season and get them ready to head to Goreville.
All right. It's always a joy, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Have a good weekend. Ready.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Jeremy Varner, head basketball coach of the Hamilton County Foxes, and 3 returning starters. That's a plus, Danny. But again, the Black Diamond Conference is going to be loaded this year.
Yeah, you know, he's another team that doesn't have a lot of size. 6'2", 6'3" is going to be his biggest kid, but he's got a lot of 6-foot kids, and the Whipple boy can jump out of the gym.
All right, and again, they will open up down at Goreville here in just a couple of weeks. Well, the Wayne City Indians have a new head basketball coach of their boys program, and that is Jeff Morris. He will be joining us next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned. We'll talk Indians basketball when we come right back.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
It's that time again. It's time for the Christmas open house at the Tin Shed in Wayne City. That's right. This weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can shop at the Tin Shed during their Christmas open house. Buy something for people on your gift list and buy something for yourself. It's all happening on Friday from 10 till 5, Saturday from 10 till 4, and Sunday from noon till 4 at the Tin Shed during their Christmas open house this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, located on Route 15 in the heart of Wayne City.
105.5 and 90.9 The Vine thanks Wibbles Repair and Sales in McLeansboro for their monthly underwriting support of local Christian radio. They repair small engines and ag equipment, and they sell small engine parts, including oil filters and belts. They have agriculture aftermarket parts, interstate batteries, big truck parts, and truck lighting. As Steel and Husqvarna dealers, they offer a wide variety of chainsaws, trimmers, and cut-off saws. Wibbles Repair and Sales in McLeansboro. Their phone number 618-648-2227. Open Monday through Friday, Saturdays till noon.
Hey, welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. We've been previewing a lot of the area boys high school basketball teams as the season is just around the corner and practice officially began this past Monday. Going to talk about the Wayne City Indians right now and their new head coach. That's Jeff Morris. Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Good morning, Randy. Thanks for having me on this morning.
You bet. Good to have you on the show today. And first week of practice as you take over the helm of the Indians, and tell us how things have been going.
Well, they've been going really good. The kids are working extremely hard. It's kind of we're going a little slow at things. Everything's new for the kids. I'm getting adjusted with the kids, but the kids are working extremely hard, and I think we're getting a lot accomplished.
Well, for those people who don't know it, of course, you were the coach of the Fairfield Colts, the Center Street Colts in Fairfield, the last few years. Of course, you had a tremendous success over there with that bunch. And so moving to the high school level now, tell us about maybe some of the biggest adjustments from moving to the junior high to the high school level.
Well, first, the biggest adjustment is just the kids are bigger, faster, and stronger. I mean, it's just amazing how much more speed is involved with the game and how much more physical the kids are. I would say it's probably the biggest adjustment so far. And we haven't got to start playing games, so there's going to be a lot of adjustments that we have to make as we go. But just the speed and the physicality is probably the biggest thing I'm seeing so far.
Mm-hmm. Well, Wayne City won a lot of basketball games last year. How many of those guys are back as returning players this year from the squad a year ago?
Well, last year they graduated a lot. I think they had 7 or 8 seniors, so it was a big class, and they lost a lot of scoring from last year. But we do return one starter from that group, and that's Jackson King. And he played a lot of minutes last year as a starter, and
right.
He did a lot of good things. And I know he didn't do a lot of scoring last year, but he's going to be looked upon to carry a load a little this year on the scoring part. And then we also Remington Henson's returning, and he's a big body, and he got some minutes last year, but he'll be probably stepping into one of those starting spots as well.
Okay, how's the schedule open up for Wayne City? Who do you open with, and where?
We start down to Christopher Turkey Tourney. I think November 20th today, and we open up with North City that night at 6:15.
Okay, now is that a bracketed tournament or a round-robin tournament?
Yes, it's an 8-team bracketed tournament.
Okay, all right. So you have them in the first game, and then who else is in your bracket there?
On our side, we have Christopher, who's really tough this year. They're really good, and then I think they play either Waltonville or I think they play Waltonville, if I'm not mistaken. But that's on our side. And on the other side, you have Thompsonville. You got Weber, who's really strong this year. And New Athens is on the other bracket as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's definitely a competitive tournament to start the season right out of the gate then, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then after that tournament, then what do you got?
I just looked at week 1. We
Sure.
We have 2 games that following week, but we're going to try to take it game by game. So we play that Monday night, and that's what we're looking at first, and then we try not to look too far ahead.
Yeah, of course. I know you got the Conrad Allen tournament, the annual Christmas tournament, if you want to call it that, in Wayne City. Although it's played a little bit earlier before Christmas, earlier than a lot of the other tournaments. That's kind of in mid-December, but that's always a big event. And with that beautiful new school and beautiful new gym they've got here in Wayne City, it's a great place for a tournament because you can utilize both gyms.
Oh yeah, and the facilities are just great here. I mean, and I remember last year that atmosphere on a championship night was just unbelievable. It's a big gym, and but it's a big gym, but it's got a small feeling still. And when people pack it up, it gets really loud, and the atmosphere is just really great.
Mm-hmm. I know that non-conference schedule. I know Fairfield's on your schedule as a non-conference opponent. Who are some of the other teams on the non-conference schedule?
Well, we got Gallatin County. They got a nice squad this year. I think we picked up Flora this year, which is another 2-way school, so that'll be a tough game. Obviously, Fairfield's good this year. They're big and they got good guards. So, that's 3 of our tougher opponents on our schedule this year. Those are all tough ones for us.
As far as the conference, Midland Trail Conference, have you thought about who are going to be the teams to beat there in the Midland Trail Conference? How do you size that up?
Well, I was kind of looking through it, and I would say Weber's probably the team to beat if I had to take a guess. And I know Woodlawn's going to be strong again. People are kind of looking past him, but they're always good. That program's just unbelievable. They just reload. They don't really have down season. They just reload, and they're going to be really good. So I look at those two to kind of be the teams to beat, and then I think we can be right up there with them though.
Well, that's good. That's good. So first night of the tournament is when down there at Christopher?
It's November 20th. It'll be a Monday night.
All right. So, 9 days away. Not too much. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Danny. Go ahead.
It's going to be there pretty quickly upon those teams.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling. I was like, I got hired late, so I didn't really have a summer to work with them. So this 2 weeks is just flying by right now. I can't believe we were already 6 practices in, and this don't seem like enough time, but we're working hard, and I think we'll be ready.
Yeah. Are you also handling the athletic director duties there at school?
No, I'm not. Drew Millwood.
Drew, that's right. I knew that. Yeah, that's right. All right. Okay. Well, Jeff, hey, we appreciate you joining us this morning here on the Sports Couch, and best of luck as you prepare those Wayne City Indians for that opener down at the tournament. And we look forward to talking to you throughout the season, okay?
Thanks. Appreciate it, and thanks for having me on this morning.
You bet. Take care. All righty. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Jeff Morris, head coach of the Wayne City Indians, and he made a good point there, Danny. He's a late hire because they had an opening come up there in the coaching ranks, and when you don't have that full summer to work with the kids, that's tough. You're already behind the 8 ball a little bit there.
Well, and especially when you've lost a senior class like Wayne City lost last season.
7 players they lost.
But I'll guarantee you they'll be ready to play.
Oh, and I think that they'll be competitive, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But Jeff, of course, had a lot of success over there at Fairfield at Center Street, and so we'll see how that transitions over to Wayne City at the high school level.
Well, Randy, that'll be a big adjustment for him. But just like he said, the size, the strength, the speed of the game, all those things will come into play for him. And but he's had good success. He's a good coach, and he'll make the adjustments. And it may take him a year or two to get him lined up, but he'll get that program going.
It's kind of similar to the same things that Wayne Harre said about transitioning from coaching girls to coaching boys, is the strength and the speed of the game. Big differences when you go from girls to boys.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. All right, well, when we come back, we're going to visit with Coach Phil Leib of the Flora Wolves. See how it's going at Flora as we prepare for the new basketball season. We'll do that after these messages.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is Kima for Meager Pest Control. We are honored to partner in radio ministry with 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine. Meager Pest Control is Christian-owned and veteran-owned and offers effective pest control services using industry-leading products with proven methods of application. Meager Pest Control covers your residential and commercial pest control needs.
Call my daddy at 315-5212 or find us on Facebook. Meager Pest Control!
Choosing a construction company is a big decision because many companies come and go. That's why Greenwald & Sons Construction is a name you can trust. With over 40 years of experience, Greenwald & Sons Construction in Wayne City and Mount Vernon specialize in residential and commercial construction, as well as remodeling. They'll be happy to talk to you about a church addition, business expansion, or new home construction. Greenwald & Sons Construction, the experts you can depend upon. Their number is 895-2044.
Music and ministry on the Vine is provided by Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency specializes in providing your life, health, auto, and home insurance, as well as complete financial services. They are located at 4121 South Water Tower Place in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-1421, and their website is tonywilt.com. We are grateful for their underwriting support.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment, and we've been previewing some of the area high school boys basketball teams, and it's time to talk about the Flora Wolves right now. And joining us on the phone is head coach of the Wolves, that's Phil Leib. Good morning, Phil. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I am blessed beyond measure.
Great. Good to have you on the show, and I can't believe it's already basketball season again. It comes around pretty fast, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it's it just seems like a blink of an eye, and as the older we get, the quicker the blinks get. But last February and March, and then next thing you know, it's November, but the temperature's changing, trees are changing colors, and it's a beautiful time of the year, and it's a beautiful time to be in the gym.
You know, we have had some beautiful leaves this year. The colors have just been spectacular this year.
It's awesome. And last night we was fortunate enough, we were blessed enough to be able to I took a team up to watch U of I basketball game, and as good a game as that was, what was even more impressive was the sunset God provided on the way up there. It was just majestic.
Yeah, and the Illini got a win last night, so that's a good way to start for them.
They did, and it's doing some interesting things, and are just playing hard and playing intense and defensively and offensively. Coach Underwood's got a spread offense going in a little bit, which I know Coach Mack at Fairfield's putting in last year and two, and Coach over at Greenville's doing the same thing, and we're looking at kind of emulating that as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you'd had a chance to meet Coach Underwood or participate in any coaches camps or whatever with him.
Yeah, we is fortunate enough we saw him up at Illinois Westland for the IBCA coaches clinic.
Yeah,
and he put on he's supposed to talk about defense and intensity, and I think he had so many emails about the spread offense that he went ahead and talked about the spread offense, and he does some good things out of it, and obviously he's a successful coach, and we just really hope and pray that he's able to turn things around, and the mindset and the culture at Illinois basketball is so feverish. I mean, people are hungry for a winner, and Illinois, bleeds basketball, and we just hope that comes to fruition.
Well, I saw a few highlights from the game last night. I noticed Mr. Basketball of Illinois, Mark Smith, in his first game in a Illini uniform, and it looked like he got off to a decent start, and so it's good to see.
He is, and I think it helps our other guys realize just the caliber of athletes that's out there on the floor. And Mark is such a gifted athlete, and just a God-given specimen as far as athleticism. And he could play multiple sports, but he chose basketball, and we're thankful he's staying in Illinois, and hopefully we wish him the best there, because as he's better, the Illini get better.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, let's talk about your Flora Wolves and how many players you got returning this year from the squad a year ago.
We lost, I think, about 5 seniors from last year, 3 that started, 3 or 4 at times. But I'm really excited about this senior group that we have this year. I mean, they've been playing together, obviously, probably since 4th or 5th grade, with travel ball through 6th grade, junior high, and stuff like that. They've had success within their group throughout. Some of them probably has not matured or grown like I thought they would. But at the same time, that's what we got. I think we got a little bit of height, not great height or abundant height, but we got some length to us. We're from 6'4" to 6'1" without losing too much, and we'd be a good pipe cleaning business because our arms are really skinny, and we can probably get in those 3-inch pipes really easily, and you get those drains for people. But
that's good.
Unfortunately, in the 60s and 70s, that was okay because the game was more finesse and about skill. But times have changed. It's about physical stature, and it's about being physical, and that may not benefit us at times. So we just have to overcompensate that with the desire and work ethic, intensity, and just being mentally tougher than our opponents.
And you open the schedule where at this year, Coach?
We go over to Carlisle. We got the catching tournament over there.
Right.
We open it up with Oakville. It's been kind of our nemesis over there the last couple of years, but Noah Federtine is gone, but his brother Caleb is back. Coach Krause, he'll do a good job. He'll have them ready to go, and we have yet to beat them over there, so that'd be a nice boost in our confidence, I think, hopefully, and we just come over and ready to play and ready to go, and just compete the best of our abilities. And after that, we got Wednesday. We play Carlisle, their home floor there, and I think they're going to be decent. They got a couple kids returning, a good post player coming back, a couple good guards, and then we close it out on Friday night. I believe we play, my mind's slips me, Freeburg. So that's got something to look forward to there, and then Saturday obviously be the crossover game. So anyway, we got our work cut out for us, and then after the tournament, we started our opening schedule Tuesday with Edwards County coming to our place, and then we got Lawrenceville at home, then we got Mount Carmel at home, and then we go to Marshall. So our schedule doesn't do us much favors. So, but we're excited about the basketball. We're excited about these young men. We're excited about Trenton Brown's returning starter. He missed half the season last year due to a dislocated knee. Hopefully we have him healthy the entire year. Drew Woodrow stepped up and is able to provide some great minutes, great point production when Trenton went down. Logan Moses has had varsity experience the last 4 years, so we anticipate great things from him. With his athleticism, just being able to finish around the basket. My son Owen is just a tenacious defender and good offensive rebounder, and he's just the type of guy you've got to have there in games, willing to do the dirty work. And with that said, he's probably going to get his buckets just by playing hard. And then you got Landon Carter, a point guard, just a true point guard. He doesn't really care about scoring. He just wants to get the ball up the floor and just be that general out there. And that's kind of a rare quality sometimes. Sometimes kids are more concerned about their stats than they are the team stats, and Landon is not that. And I'm excited about our bench. We have Drew Hout's a football player, but, man, he can string a truck. And he's going to provide some good minutes for us. Ty Warren's a good shooter coming off the bench for us, and Nick Schaefer Jr., 6'1" defender, and can shoot as well from the outside. So I think we can go kind of deep at times without losing much. We lose some height a little bit when we sub, but at the same time, we don't lose any intensity or skill too much. So that should be a blessing.
Well, you mentioned your non-conference, some of your non-conference schedule there. You got Mount Carmel and Marshall pretty early in the season. That's a couple of tough cookies for non-conference schedule. I also know that you've got Wayne City added to the schedule this year, I think, non-conference, right?
Yeah, we did. Last couple of years we was able to play Christopher right before Christmas, and that just didn't work out. I think we just had conflicting schedules, and I'm sad to see that go. But at the same time, we just had to move on. But Wayne City had an opening, and he said a couple of years ago, if you ever have an opening, just let him know. And they're a quality 1A program, and they do a good job down there and play quality basketball. So I think that'd be a good fit for us. It's not something that is going to be an easy win by any means. We're going to have to fight tooth and nail, especially at their place. So, but anyway, that'll be, I think, in January. Then our February is pretty busy too. Sometimes teams are heavy on the front end and light on the back end, but ours is kind of opposite. We're kind of lighter in December, but January, February, it's pretty consistent, which is kind of what we want to be.
Mm-hmm. You still in the Vandalia tournament?
That we are. I think the Wolves been there since 1980, 81, something like to that effect. So I'm just a PE major. I don't know how many years that is. That's a lot. So anyway, I think we're excited about that. Obviously, St. Anthony with 4 returning starters back, they should probably be the preseason favorite to win that tournament. They play a tough schedule. Obviously state champs coming back, and so that'll be a difficult task for us. And the Wolves schedule in itself, I was telling my wife as we was watching the 1A and 2A championships last year. In the Final Four, we played 3 of those 4 teams. So the unfortunate thing, we didn't beat any of them, but our schedule was such that we played most of them.
Yeah, how about that?
And our 1A schedule, our 1A schedule is not cupcakes at all. On our 1A schedule, I think of the 8 teams we played, I think 6 of them won a regional. So that was kind of difficult on our part. Maybe I need to do some rescheduling, but at the same time, we're just trying to get better and just put ourselves in a position where we're playing confident and passionate and together, and putting ourselves in a position to win a regional, hopefully.
Yeah, Randy was talking about his Michigan State Spartans earlier, Coach. Yeah, they'll probably win 30 games, but these first 10 games they play, I'm surprised the Florida Wolves aren't on their schedule.
Hey, if they give us $20,000, I may go up there and get a beating.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not looking at this picture very well. You're not helping. You're not padding your statistics very well on your part. You need to start taking some better lessons, Coach.
I guess so. Yeah, exactly, because I think, like you said, with the Illinois or Michigan State or whoever, you got a couple of good games in there in your non-conference schedule, but for the most part, they're trying to get better. They're trying to establish some confidence. They're trying to establish some continuity, because we both know in college or high school, once you get in a conference, it gets different. Teams scout you a little bit better. They play you a little bit tougher, a little bit more of a rivalry, and it's just a grind. And it's just a matter of keeping sharp and continue your focus throughout the entire season, because basketball is such a long season, and it's easy to get distracted. But at the same time, you only get this season once in your life as a senior, so hopefully they maintain that.
Yeah. Do you still have Woodlawn on your schedule?
We do. I think we requested not to play them in the Carlisle tournament, only because we do play them later on in the year.
Right.
And you talk about a surprise as far as you watched them at the Carlisle tournament last year, and even when we played them, I think in January. We didn't necessarily kill them, but we also played, I think, pretty well, and they didn't play very well. And here they go on a tremendous postseason run again. It just goes to show you, if you get hot at the right time, great things can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Coach, how many years is this for you?
Here at Florida, this is my 18th year. Overall, as a head coach, 19. Overall, as coaching, 26. So it's I've always told myself at the end of the day, at the end of the year, I've already had this question, well, Owen's your baby, he's your senior. Is this it for you? Well, with the good Lord above willing, hopefully not. I feel like, God placed me in a position as a preacher here on the court. I feel like that's my mission. As long as I'm still energetic, still passionate, and still have an influence in young men's lives, and they're still responding to my voice, to my leadership, then I hope I continue to do it. That's just something I've always thought about, and something I really, haven't thought about in that measure. But at the same time, it's just one day at a time, 1 week at a time. But I will tell you, it gets harder and harder to get on that old yellow Greyhound.
I'm sure it does.
Old coaches always used to tell me that, you're crazy. now I understand.
Yeah, I used to hear older guys talk about hurting their shoulders, their knees, their backs, and their things, and I thought, what are them guys talking about? The older you get, you start feeling those things too.
Right. And the older you get, the wiser you have someone else demonstrate. So it's just so it's kind of like that expression. It's better to appear to be a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. It's better to still let them think that you can play than to get out there and show them and say, oh, maybe he can. So anyway, I enjoy doing what I do. I'm blessed to have a great wife, an awesome family. It's been part of our heritage, part of our legacy here at Flora. Like I said, Owen's our baby, our senior. It's hard to believe that we've been here at Flora 18 years. I think Coach Welch was here 16, so last year I was able to pass him as the longest tenured coach in Florida history, and what a blessing that was. And but at the same time, been blessed with some great players, some great parents, and great support.
Well, Coach, we was talking about that earlier. Behind every great team, there's a better group of parents, isn't there? That's
so true. It is so true, especially in today. And you look at, and I look over my tenure as coaching, you can tell. And it's sad to say, but the reason why, not to get political or anything like that, but we can throw as much money at programs and funding as we want, but it goes down to the bottom line is the family and the family structure and the family unit. And when you have a solid family within the program, like we do here at Florida at times, I think this year we got some solid parents. You have solid kids because their foundation is solid. They're not easily shaken. They're not worried about this thing, this, that, and the other. But when kids are facing turmoil at home, whether mom and dad's no longer together or they're living in different households or this, that, and the other, it does affect them. They can say what they want, but it affects the kids. It affects whether they're young kids or a teenager. And when the families are together, kids are together.
Family's a major factor in everything.
Absolutely. And, like I said, our family has been blessed beyond measure. Starts with my mom and dad is kind of roots there, but it was their parents before them that laid the foundation. And you never realize how much of an impact you have as a father or a mother until you see your children parent or you see your children become adults and they pass down the traits that you help incorporate into their lives, pass down to someone else. I have two girls, Hannah and Helen now, who are teaching in Tuscola. Now they're impacting other people's lives. And it's just nice to see that our witness and our legacy continues throughout the branch of the tree of life, so to speak.
Well, that's what we're called to do, we sure are. And that's
absolutely.
And you've done a great job at it, for sure. Well, it's great visiting with you this morning, Phil, about your Flora Wolves, giving us a little preseason look, and we look forward to visiting with you throughout the season, and best of luck as you prepare for the start of the season with that tournament over there, okay?
Well, Randy, Danny, thank you for all you do, and thank you for being the people that you are and who you represent. So never forget the influence we have in people's lives. So God bless you.
All right, thanks
Same
so much.
to you, and enjoy Thanksgiving season, and make sure you get there before your brother does to that Thanksgiving dinner table.
Which one? I have to fight both of them off.
Yeah, that's right. There won't be any turkey left. All right.
Amen.
Take care. All right, thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye. Phil Leib, head coach of the Flora Wolves, and he's finally down to his final boy. Owen is a senior this year, and he has had the pleasure of coaching all of his boys through the years there at Flora.
I'm sure there's times it hasn't been pleasure.
It probably hasn't been, but
I'd say there's been some nights it's been pretty cool at the supper table.
Could be. But one thing I've always noticed about Phil and coaching his boys through the years, and all his boys have been good, solid basketball players, and his boys have been what I would call blue-collar players.
That's right.
Blue-collar players. They would get in there and they would do the tough stuff. They're rebounding machines and playing the tough post defense and things like that. That's what all his boys have done. But I don't ever recall any situation in watching Flora play where I ever saw Phil show any kind of favoritism or anything to any of his boys.
Oh no! If anything, Randy, I've experienced that a little bit of coaching my kids. The hardest thing is you expect more out of your own.
Yeah. If anything, maybe he was harder on them at times. I don't know.
Yeah, you are. You have a tendency to be.
But that's kind of neat that here he is at the end with Owen as a senior this year. But you heard him say, as long as he's got the strength and continues to enjoy what he's doing, he plans to continue coaching beyond this year. So.
Well, that is great for the community of Flora.
Yeah, it is.
But it's also great for high school basketball. I'm telling you, if there's some young coaches out there looking for a role model or somebody to talk to gain some experience, to take your program to another level, make the call right there as one of the greatest gentlemen there is in high school basketball.
Or volunteer as an assistant.
Yeah.
You'll learn a lot under a guy like that. That's for sure. All right. Hey, we're out of time, Danny. We're out of time. Big football game today, which is why I got my shirt on. Michigan State, Ohio State, big football game. That kicks off in about 2 hours. So So set your DVR.
Well, what I want to know about is the Cardinals.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting dilemma. Have you heard that the Miami Marlins have extended an offer? They've been going back and forth on this Stanton deal. And the Marlins will give up Stanton to the Cardinals if the Cardinals are willing to give up Reyes. I mean, there's other players involved in it as well. But the Marlins want Reyes, the number one pitching prospect for the Cardinals. And they also want Grichuk. And they want a couple of other players. And they would give the Cardinals Stanton and one pitcher is the deal that's on the table. 4 players from the Marlins, 2 players from the Cardinals.
No, 4 from the Cardinals.
4 from the Cardinals, 2 from the Marlins. So yeah.
And how much of the contract they're going to eat?
Well, I don't know about that. But
it's down to 2 teams.
Yeah.
The Cardinals and the Giants.
Yeah. So the Cardinals have got the money. I mean, don't let them kid you. They've got the money to pay him if they really want to. The question is, will they pull the trigger to let a guy like Reyes go? I mean, Reyes has the tools and the potential to be the next Bob Gibson or whatever. He also could be a reliever instead of a starter. But on the other hand, you don't know that he's not going to blow out his elbow or his shoulder or something. Well,
he's coming off Tommy John.
Right. So I mean, do you really want to continue to risk that? I mean, they cut ties with their closer, Rosenthal.
Yep.
They let him go, knowing that he's going to go under the knife. And I think they calculated and figured that, you know what? He's made his living and made a success on throwing that ball 100 miles an hour. And I think they're betting that after surgery, he won't be able to throw 100 miles an hour.
Right.
And so they decide that's it. So they've got to go out and find him a closer.
Well, that's true.
And they need a big bat in the lineup, somebody that they fear, and Stanton would definitely be that person. There's a lot of other young arms in that Cardinal organization that if they do let Reyes go.
If it would be anybody besides Reyes, the deal would have been done already.
I agree with you.
Flaherty, Hudson, any of those guys.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a done deal.
I agree. It's just that Reyes, he's been their prize catch, so to speak, for so long, that they brought up, and they've had such high expectations on him. But Marco Gonzalez, He was the name that everybody was talking about just a couple of years ago, and they've let him go.
Oh, yeah.
So,
you want to play, you got to pay.
Yeah. I mean, you may never have another opportunity to have a guy like Stanton again, and you got to have a big bat in that lineup.
But the worst thing about him is he's never had a whole season. 153 games is the most he's ever played.
Is that what he played this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had averaged 118 games.
He was pretty impactful this year. But on the other hand, if you take a look at somebody like Reyes, he's not an everyday player.
Oh, no.
Whether he's a starter or a reliever, he's not going to be an everyday impact player. So do you want to have somebody that could potentially impact you every day?
Well, I think the Cardinals have to do something, or their $3 million in attendance is over.
Yeah, I agree. And they got way too many outfielders. So they've definitely got outfielders they can expend, and Grichuk could be one of them. So if that's who the Marlins want,
that wouldn't bother me at all.
If the Marlins want Grichuk, okay,
they could put a couple more with him.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but
we're going to see if they're all talk.
Oh, right. We'll see if they put their money where their mouth is.
That's right. This is one of those deals. Their new GM said, a deal like this, you'll go past your peak point. We're going to see if they are past theirs or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we sure will. Tuesday night, mark it down. Tuesday night, Michigan State, Duke, number 1 against number 2 in college basketball. That's a big, big game this early in the season. It
big
really
game
is.
Early on.
Yeah, both teams won last night against Cupcakes, but they're just fine-tuning things.
Oh, yeah.
Before Tuesday.
I mean, they all have them.
I mean, I know you're giving me a hard time about it, but in all truth,
they all have them. They all use it to build their resumes.
Yeah. Illinois had a cupcake last night too, and
the
big surprise.
SIU had a cupcake.
Yeah,
if you can imagine them finding a cupcake.
Yeah, and SIU Edwardsville went over and played Purdue and got their brains beat out.
And sometimes it don't work out. Indiana State went and played Indiana, and Indiana, I'm sure, was thinking they were going to win by 20 and got beat by 20.
That's right. So not a good start for new coach Archie Miller there at Indiana. No. It's those Hoosier fans will not be happy about that.
No,
at all.
That won't go away very quick.
Yeah. And again, some area football games today. You can check the scores later on our website at AreaSports.net. Next week, join us again. We'll preview some more basketball teams, won't we, Danny?
Yep.
We might
even have to get over to the girls.
We might get on the girls' side as well. So join us again next Saturday morning, 8:30, for 90 minutes of great local sports talk. It's the Sports Couch here live on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net. Have a great weekend, everyone. So long.